Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a treat for you. Behind us is Liberty Coach 900, and this coach has a lot of firsts and a lot of stuff that we've never seen on any Liberty Coach before. Frank, congratulations to your family on converting 900 coaches. A lot of cool new stuff going on with this coach?
Yeah, there is. It is a pretty big milestone for us, for sure. There's no question about it. I know that a lot of you probably saw the social media post on the first H340 that we had built, which was a Liberty Lady back in 1990, and here we are in 2023 with number 900. I can't remember what that coach number was on that first one, though. I normally have that, but I can't remember what that one was, but it's pretty exciting for us, for sure. And there are some new firsts that are in this coach. We'll go through that when we get inside.
A family business, too, for that entire time, so I don't know of any other families that have been in the motor coach industry and stayed in as long as your family, so I'm really excited about this coach. The paint scheme is some new stuff that we've never seen, some new colors, but also a lot of firsts on this coach. What's going on here?
Well, the outside paint scheme obviously has been done specific for the client by Dean. It is an artistry series, as we can see. It has a special symbol the client wanted on the back of the coach, which is called Sanskrit, which means breathe. Getting really detailed as far as what the client wants into a paint scheme is pretty interesting. And this also has the 9660 upgrade headlight treatment to it on the Prevost chassis, so we're pretty excited about that. It also has the American Racing upgrades as far as the wheels on the outside of the coach. There's a lot of stuff going on here.
And I have not seen inside yet, but you shot me a text yesterday telling me about some of the features that I'm really excited to see. You think we could take a closer look at this coach?
Absolutely.
So Liberty Coach makes a product at the highest level in the motor coach industry. This is arguably the highest quality motor coach on the road. What is it about Liberty Coach that separates you from everyone else in the industry?
I go back to the fact that through all the years that our family's been in this business, which is now getting on 51 years, we have owned that company as a family in its entity for the entire time. We're not only coach builders, we're users, so we're out in the field using the coach with the customers, so we listen to what they have to say. We're out there playing with the coach, working on it if necessary. I mean, I bring my tools all the time so that I can be playing with stuff or help people out. So that takes the quality to a different level because you're living, breathing, and eating the whole gamut of it, right? You're driving it down the road, you're listening for the squeaks and rattles, you're living in the coach, sleeping on board, listening to different things that are happening, and using the coach, making sure that there's not sharp corners, that you're not, banging on something when you're going down the road or walking, transitioning through the coach, making the coach feel bigger so you have enough room to move around. There's a whole aspect to how that all works. When you get into the nuts and bolts of it, when you start to open up panels and you start to look at different things, you have to be able to service it. It has to be accessible. And so that takes our quality to a different level as well. Detail in the behind the scenes part of it is really what makes it happen. There's a lot of pretty coaches that are out there, there's no question. Yes, we, Kim and Kurt, take it to a completely different level. The mechanics of it, if that doesn't come together and work, it can be as pretty as it wants and it's not going to be, usable.
Yes, sir, I respect that. And I've got to ask, do you remember what your first trip RVing was as a child?
Yeah, I do. We were in the 4104, which was the first coach that we ever built. It took Mom and Dad about a year to do it. I was like 6 years old, Kurt was 4 years old, and we were transitioning going up to Maine. I'll never forget that in that coach. And every day something went wrong. Every day. So, you live those experiences and build upon that. There's no question.
Yeah, so it's safe to say you and your brother have been RVing your entire lives.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's the only way to really learn is to just get in there and do it. I've got to ask too, the Koenigsetter name, what's your family background and where are your roots from?
Germany. My grandparents, my dad's parents came over from Germany. My grandfather ended up being in the Chicago area, actually then went back to Germany to get his wife, my grandmother, and came back. He was a wood craftsman, woodworker by trade. He started a aluminum foundry. He was a pattern maker. Some of the things that you see in this coach that are firsts is part of that lineage as far as that goes. My brother is a fantastic woodworker as well and designer, and so my dad was also, or still is, Dad obviously still around. So that lineage through that period of time has gone from generation to generation to generation.
I've always had a lot of respect for that German engineering. I'm a big fan of Mercedes Mercedes-Benz. I feel they're the finest automobiles in the world, and I think Liberty Coach is right there in the motor coach industry. So
Thank you.
really got
the
to tip my
engineering part of it we do as well, obviously. I'm a mechanical engineer and electrical, so you see how the coach is put together and the mechanical aspects, the electrical aspects of it, so all of that transition through, for sure.
And the finished product definitely shows. What's going on with this coach?
The configuration in the bays is pretty much what we have done in the past. There's a couple things in the first bay in here that we did specific for the client, which are boxes that hold wash poles and any other type of equipment that they want to do. You've got the drawer cabinet here on top. We provide extra filters, we provide extra fittings and what have you that you might have or that may be a failure point. We provide those. We have some snap-on outside sunscreens for the side windows.
In production motorhomes, just to have these snap-on covers, if you were to hire a company out, it would be several $1,000s to have that done. That's just a standard option with Liberty?
It's a standard piece that we do on the coach. Then we have below it here the tool drawer, which the customer can configure any way they want to. These are all movable. Ended up to be a pretty good feature as opposed to having a roll-out toolbox and what have you to be able to do it. I mean, quite frankly, most people aren't going to be, taking apart the coach anyway, so a minimal amount of tools is really all you need. The slide-out trays. We manufacture these in the shop in Liberty Coach up north, so they are the lowest profile in the industry, so you don't lose your bay height by having the units that are probably 2 to 3 inches taller than what this is. In the second bay here, we've got the same arrangement. This one is 3/4 depth going into the bay. We then have the audio-video processor up here for the lower bay entertainment area. Again, drawers here as far as storage drawers. The quality of what we do is everywhere. We touched on that obviously a little bit ago, but the fit and finish and how everything is all done and how it feels is the same from the underside of the coach to the interior of the coach.
And it's how it holds up as well. I've had a chance to see a lot of 20, 25, 30-year-old Liberty coaches, and we'll see them out here in your service lot as well, still in use, still running down the road. And when you start opening these drawers, they're just like they were off the line. Yes, sir.
That's brand new. Here we have the 65-inch pull-out TV. It just seems like it keeps on coming, right?
Yes, sir.
The rollout mechanism, that's all built by Liberty Coach as well, and it's built to last. I mean, you can look at it. It's over-engineered. There's no question.
Well, and this TV as well. I've been in RV resorts where Liberty Coach owners have their exterior TV fired up at night, and it's like such a crisp, clean picture, even on another level than some of the TVs I see out there. What type of a TV is this?
Well, this is a Samsung TV, and it's their higher level TVs that you can get. The other part of it has to do with how the image is piped to it, if you will, okay? We don't use anything in between to move the video signal. So all of our cabling is custom-made fiber optic HDMI cables. So they're home run from the source to the switch to back. That eliminates all kinds of issues and handshaking issues and what have you that the video companies have, processor companies have. So that's why our picture is so much crisper and cleaner than what you're going to find anywhere else.
It definitely shows. Yes, sir.
Third bay here, we've got the refrigerator. You've got a Crestron panel here to be able to operate everything that's inside and outside the coach. More storage drawers here. And then we have a drawer specific for the Kenyon International grill unit that we put into the coach. This then is removed, put on a table, plugged in. This thing is fantastic for how it works. Fourth bay here, we've got the storage drawers here as well. On the other side of this is going to be your DEF tank. The DEF is filled on the driver's side of the coach, but then you do have the ability to fill fuel on the driver and passenger side. We hold 222 gallons of fuel, which I believe is the highest capacity in the industry. The other thing is about this too is that, when you look at the Prevost chassis, these inlets for the fuel and for the depth are at a comfortable height, right? So you're not having to get down into a bay or somewhere crawling around underneath a slide room or something like that to be able to fuel. You can do it right at a very comfortable level. Comes back from the tour industry, Prevost, the chassis part of it, and there are thousands of coaches that they have on the road, the tens of millions of miles, right? They listen very well also to the clients. Third bay here, what we missed in the center part of this is going to be our inverters. We have 3 5,000 watt inverters in here, and then the Volta battery banks are located in the center as well. And those are 2 battery banks that are in there. They're 36,000 kilowatt hours. the 5,000 watt inverters. One inverter, its only purpose in life is to run all of the sensitive equipment, your satellite receivers, your TVs, your audio video processors, the refrigerator, the water pumps, stuff that doesn't like that power transition. So that stays on inverter power 100% of the time. And then the other two inverters can be piggybacked so that they could run 220 volt equipment. So like the Wolf speed oven, the microwave convection oven unit, the washer dryer, those type of things can be run on inverter power as well.
Yeah, and I don't know anybody else in the industry running three 5,000 watt inverters. That's extremely expensive equipment too when you start to get into all of that.
Exactly. Fifth bay back here is going to be our water or wet bay, if you will. Culligan reverse osmosis system here. This goes to the refrigerator, so your ice maker and the water dispenser is filtered through that RO system. You have a InstaHot or tankless water heater that goes to the shower valve. So the 40-gallon water heater that we have on board, if that were to fail, then you'd still have hot water available to you for the shower. We also have the filtration for the primary and secondary filters for the water system as well. And then we've got our freshwater tank dump, which is air operated. You have a sewer dump for the black and gray water tank is on this side as well. Unique to Liberty Coach, we have the ability to dump the holding tank on both sides. This is something that I don't think you find in any other unit that's out there. Freshwater tank is stainless steel. Our holding tank is aluminum. Capacities on those are going to equal out to somewhere around 160, 170 gallons. And then of course, again, you have 40 gallons for the water heater, which is electric, or it's heated from the main engine through a heat exchanger when you're going down the road.
And I always like to point out when I see these placards, you have a lot of the instructions there for the end user, but when we see those 20, 25-year-old coaches, those are crystal clear, just like they are new.
You'll see a lot of that, and when you look in the bays, there's a lot of labeling that we do and placards that we do. I mean, because people don't use the coach on a daily basis, right? They put it away for 3 months, they come back. How did that work? How do I do that? What have you? We've done those instructional videos as well. So on the Liberty Coach Owners Portal, you'll email in with your information to your coach. We'll give you the password, and then we have 17 instructional videos that are there too to help people remind them how to use the coach. There's a lot of that we do for sure.
Looks like the super slide on this bedroom here.
Yeah, we've got two super slides on this one, one on either side of the bedroom. So we have this would be then called the super suite as well, for sure.
I'm looking forward to seeing inside of this coach.
This one we have the pressure washer option as well. So we have two deionizing tanks that are up in the front bay. We put those up there so we have them in a heated area and so they don't freeze. You can blow this out as far as that goes so this won't freeze as well, but this has worked out really well. And again, we pointed this out in the past, the quality of the hose that we use on that is very high quality stuff, right? Non-kinkable, it's 100 feet long. You can get around the coach, no problem. We've got the ability to power up the coach on the passenger side as well as power up a trailer. So the trailer hookup you would use when you are not moving down the road. So you can power up your trailer via generator or shore power from that outlet. On the engine that we have here, this is the Volvo D13. It's 500 horsepower, 1,850 foot-pounds of torque. It's an extremely clean installation. This is the Liberty Coach belt guard that we put on every coach. Some people like to have it on, some off. Doesn't really matter one way or another. It just makes it look cleaner, if you will. The belt tightening system that Prevost installs on the coach. Again, these people have been building coaches now coming up almost 100 years. So in 2024, it'll be the 100th anniversary for Prevost. So in all of that time and all of the money and energy and resources and the miles and the coaches and the customers that they have dealt with builds you a coach that is very serviceable and service-minded as far as that goes. So an example, the belt tightening system. This keeps the constant tension on the belts, so you're never having to worry about belts flying off or checking the belt one way or another. There's also spring tensioners that are in here as well for the other belts. One thing that was done in the 2020 model year, which this coach obviously is a 23 model year, so it has it, is we no longer have the fan drive mechanism back here. It is all done with electric fans. So there's 8 fans that are in the system. They work at different speeds. They also change direction to keep themselves clean. So this has really improved fuel economy. It's also taken away vibration and noise when you're driving down the road as well, because there's nothing, you're not hearing that other fan kicking on and off and all of that. So again, here we have that Sanskrit symbol in the back of the coach, which again means breathe. That was a specific request by the client to Dean. It's interesting to see, these different requests being done. Really cool.
Yeah, very cool. And I wouldn't have known what that symbol meant. It just looks like a really cool design, but awesome how Dean ties all of these patterns together. There's a reason he's a world-renowned artist. He's one of the most talented artists in the world.
So we've talked about this a few different times as far as slide rooms.
Yes,
so
sir.
I'm right at 6 foot or just a little over. This coach now is actually sitting totally down on the ground. People often ask that, how come the thing is so low? Well, we've got it in the showroom here set down all the way down, and I can still walk underneath the slide rooms as far as the rear slide rooms. This is the 5th bay on the driver's side. So we have the stainless steel fresh water tank, got the aluminum holding tank with a stainless steel panel over it, our trademark polished copper plumbing, and you've seen enough coaches through the years that looks just like that are 20, 25 years old.
It's just incredible at how well these hold up, and it's just a great, classy, timeless look as well.
We also have the 100-foot hose reel. This is an electric hose reel, so it's electric retract and manual pull out. We also have a hand sprayer here for cleaning out the sewer hoses when you're done with them. The sewer hoses are stored up in this area here. This device here is the gray water bypass, so we have the ability to bypass the gray water so it goes out through a garden hose fitting, which then can go into a storm sewer or on the ground if you're so able to do so in those areas, which would then mean you've got that tank for black capacity only. Again, all of the gray water would bypass the tank and go out. 4th bay here on the driver's side, we've got storage bins. I've mentioned before, this can be configured a number of different ways. One of the ways also is do a closet here, exterior closet, which is all sealed. Here we have our generator bay, so trademark stainless steel polished cover for that. And then we have 12.5 kW Onan unit that's mounted inside of a hush box. The Onan has its own hush box as well, but then we have it completely contained in another hush box also.
Now, I know you read a lot of the comments, and there's a lot of great questions in those comments. Someone recently asked if for some reason the coach wasn't running off the lithium system, does the 12.5 generator have enough power to run the whole coach?
Well, it can run 3 air conditioners. It can run if you're going to be cooking at the same time. That's why I transitioned some of that equipment over to a separate inverter, so it wasn't drawing on that as well. So yeah, you can run the interior of the coach with the 12.5 for sure.
But talking about the lithium battery system, you've been using that for a long time now and have had tremendous success with it. What's different about the lithium system in this coach over other coaches out there?
Well, the Volta system is at a different level, okay? So you have different levels of lithium-ion technology that's out there. The Volta system happens to be the 3rd of the highest, if you will. This type of technology, we're able to see probably 25 plus years of life expectancy. We have the ability here on the capacity side that if you wanted to try and equate this capacity to 8D size batteries that normally most coaches have, you'd have to have at least 38 of them. You don't have enough real estate in the bay to do that. You don't have enough weight carrying capacity to do that either. Plus, those type of batteries, once you drain them down dead, you've lost their efficiency completely. When these batteries come into us, they are 90% efficient, and they go down to 80% efficient after 2,000 cycles. A cycle is going to be from 100% to 0. Okay, we don't ever get to 0 because at 18% the system turns itself off. At 20%, we're starting the generator to charge the system back up again. So the likelihood that you're going to get into that duration is very unlikely. The other part that's nice about this system is you can come into the bay here, the 2nd bay where you see that green circled button. You can come and press that button, turn the system off. If it's at 100%, you turn it off, you can come back 4+ months later and turn it back on. You're not going to be at 100%, but you're going to be not too far away from it, and then everything cleanly reboots. So this is ideal for people that don't have the ability to keep the coach plugged in, or something bad has happened and you have to have it at a service center and they don't have shore power, you have the ability to turn it off. Of course, you'd have to empty out the refrigerator because you have nothing running inside the coach, but this is a really cool feature that we have.
And this is the only coach that I'm aware of at this, north of $2 million level that has that feature. I think most coaches require to be plugged into 50 amp, majority of the time, even when being stored. And one of the other huge benefits of that lithium technology is how quiet it is. I've been using lithium technology for a little while now, and just to be able to turn on an air conditioning unit, not worry about a generator noise or generator exhaust and fumes, it's just such a nice experience. I think once folks get used to lithium, there's no going back after that.
We have been down this road now for 13 years, okay? So the very first coach that we did that was in 2010. So all of our 2011 product had lithium-ion batteries in it, and we never looked back. And then we transitioned to the Volta system in 2016, so our 2017 product and up is all Volta based. And so we've seen generational changes of that as well, because in the same size casing, we're starting to see more capacity because the technology is increasing as well. So it's been a big benefit all the way around.
You've definitely led the industry. I think you're responsible for bringing lithium technology to the RV industry, and you've been doing it for 13 years, and everyone was kind of fighting it at first, but I think everyone else is now following. Most of your competitors are starting to offer lithium systems, but you've learned a lot of lessons, I'm sure, over those 13 years.
You really have to go the whole way if you're going to do it, for
Yes,
sure.
sir.
Second bay here, again, we've got the battery management system that's located on top up here. The power transfer box, the stainless steel box here, that is where all the power transition happens from shore power to generator to inverter power. The generator battery for starting is right here, and then we have the different control systems that are here. Basically also the fuses. There's only 6 fuses in this coach. Everything is done on the Moritz Octoplex system, which is a electronically programmed circuit breaker. So there's a number of those boxes that are in the coach. So we eliminated a lot of troubleshooting issues. We eliminated a lot of problems one way or another. And we've been doing that since 2007. And it's been a bulletproof system for sure.
I think we're starting to see that kind of pop up now too. So you've definitely led the way.
First bay here is going to be the DI system for the power washer. We have that again in this bay because we can keep this bay heated. We also then have the other driver's side slide out tray arrangement. Our awning chairs are the exterior chairs. They're mounted on the back side of the first bay and second bay doors, both driver and passenger side.
Yeah, and those match the awnings. Does this have awnings on both sides of the coach?
Right, so there's awnings equal on both sides. So they're the same length and the same width, if you will, that come out. They are the 2-stage awning as far as that goes. So there's 4 that are identical actually.
Yeah, and I think we got some good shots of a Liberty coach 2 or 3 coaches ago with all those awnings out.
The other thing we have here on the side is our blind spot detection system. So we're the only coach out there that does that. We've been doing that since the 21 model year. There are 2 lights. There's amber lights on the driver's side windshield post and the passenger side windshield post to indicate somebody is alongside you. There are 3 radar devices that are down the side of the coach. These devices are not affected by weather, so mud, snow, ice, rain does not affect their operation one way or another. They are painted by Dean, but they have to be painted a certain way so that it does not upset the radar technology, if you will. And we can see stuff that's about a lane to a lane and a half on either side of the coach, plus approximately 20 feet behind the coach. So it does not affect it if you're pulling a trailer or you're pulling your car, but it does give you an idea that somebody's getting close to those as well.
I was recently reviewing a motorhome 2022 that's pushing on that $1.5 million range, and rather than finishing out the details like this, it had these big ugly plastic sensors. And when I was reviewing that coach, all I could think of was how clean the Liberty coach sensors look. So.
Thank you. Exterior wise, what you can see here, this is a camera system. This is from Prevost. It's part of their advanced driver assist package. So we have lane departure, we have collision alert, where this thing is going to really come down on the brakes automatically if you're climbing on top of somebody. Adaptive cruise control system is enhanced by that as well. So the coach is very well safety oriented all the way around, not only with their system, but with Liberty Coach's blind spot detection system and also our 360 view camera system that that we have that looks like a bird's eye view, if you will, all the way around the coach. We were the first ones to implement that back in 2016 as well. It was the first time anything like that was done on a vehicle that was over 26 feet long. So a lot of firsts that we've done.
I've got to compliment these new Prevost headlights.
Yeah.
Really a sharp looking headlight there.
Yeah, they're going to be available more rapidly as time goes on, but these can be retrofitted into any of the H345 platforms that have the headlight system that was put in right around 2011-ish, if you will. Certainly anything that has the Volvo motor in it would have that style of headlight in it.
And is that something that can be done here at the Liberty Coach Service
We
Department?
can do that here as well as an upgrade, absolutely.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
now you only service Liberty coaches.
We service whatever we sell here. So if we sell any product as far as other than Liberty Coach product, we will service that here as well.
And real quick, I've got to compliment just the front end paint scheme, the whole paint scheme on this coach. I talked to Dean yesterday and he said he really got excited when designing this coach. I've got to tip my hat to the owners of this coach. Their design really turned out nice.
Yeah, they're going to be excited when they see it today.
Yes, sir. The team at Liberty Coach never ceases to amaze me. Lots of firsts and just a totally different design. What's going on inside?
Well, welcome to Mountain Chic, right?
Yeah, I like that. That's a good description. Yes, sir.
There was a lot of input on the customer side, communication between Kim and them that went on for quite a long time, putting us all together. It was really cool. When I was up there when they were picking out the interior, it was fun to see the excitement in the client's eyes. This is going to be their second Liberty Coach. The first one they bought was used and then, went ahead and decided to build a new coach. So the excitement on this is way up there.
It definitely shows, and I see a lot of motor coaches, but just these cool little design cues that are first really excite me. And I'm seeing this table here, totally different.
Yeah, a full live edge wood table for the dinette. That's really cool. We got hair hide on the back of the dinette cushions. You'll see some more of that as we transition through the coach as well. Countertop is a brand new material. This is a first. Coffee maker set up back in here. This was the client's own specific coffee maker that they wanted, so we built that in as well. They provided actually this chair, which is really amazing, and it's not inexpensive, I will tell you that.
I can imagine, yes, sir.
And it's beautiful. So there's a lot of stuff in here going on and how things had come together and the design part of it and the decorations and what have you that Kim put together with them. It was exciting for her too. Okay, so here in the cockpit area that we've got this arrangement, and a lot of people comment that I always say this, but it's a big engineering feat to be able to do this cockpit. There's 18 different molds here that go from the driver's side all the way over to the entry door. The way that the dash is laid out when my brother did this started in 2016 model year. Everything is very easy to get to. The iPad that's right here controls everything. Interior of the coach, plus it has its own driving page, so you have all the different cameras. You have a center pillar monitor here, so you can do the backup camera here, or if you have a trailer, you can view what's going on there and do navigation down here. It's easy to flip back and forth from the different functions that are on the coach. This coach and most of them that we built for the last year have a number of different cameras. You've got the 360 camera system, you have the pan tilt camera that's on the rear of the coach, as well as a camera that points directly down onto the hitch ball, so you can see what's happening going down the road all the time there. Plus it's aiding when you're backing up to the trailer to be able to hook up. You can almost do that single person without having to have another person to do that. But once again, all of the switches and controls are very close to be able to get to. The steering wheel controls that we have here can control the shades that are on the windshield. We have the ability to control the output retarder, which is this lever right here. The output retarder, I believe, is probably the nicest and quietest way to slow the coach down as opposed to having engine braking. We end up with well over 500 brake horsepower when we're in full mode here, if you will. There's a few other features here that are close to get to. Your radio is down here, but the radio is also able to be networked, so it's controlled through the iPad as well. Everything is very easy, and the mirrors and everything else very close to be able to get to what you need to do.
I've had the opportunity to drive several Liberty coaches, and they are just so smooth at the top of the food chain. And I know you warranty squeaks and rattles to the original owner for the lifetime of the coach.
Yep.
No one in the industry even comes close to making a statement like that. What is it about Liberty Coach? Why do they drive so great, and how are you able to make that statement?
Drivability of the coach has to do with the weight and balance. balance. When you weigh our coach, it's going to be equal, if you will, as close to equal as you can from the driver's side to the passenger side. That's a big thing. The way that we lay the bays out when we were going through it, that you have 2 complete pass-through bays in the front, and all the heavier equipment is back toward the axles, the rear axles. You got more tire, you got more capacity to carry that back there. So we end up with probably the lightest front end weight that's in the industry. So also with that said, is we have been able to keep all of the heavier equipment, wiring, what have you, under the floor level, which has brought the center of gravity down as well. So when you drive the coach down the road, probably the biggest compliment that I ever heard from a customer that came from another Prevost product is the coach does not drive clumsy. Everything that I've driven before feels clumsy going down the road. Not all Prevosts drive the same. It has to do with how they're balanced, where the center of gravity is, a number of factors like that. There's a number of things that we did years ago that my brother, in fact, did years ago when the slide rooms came in, because the slide rooms are extremely heavy. And then the more slides you add, the more weight there is to the coach, and this exasperates the whole problem, if you will. All of the cabinet doors and the cabinet structure, as far as that goes, is all done in a very lightweight material. It's a foam core. That was able to pull almost 2,500 pounds out of the interior of the coach when we did that. The countertops sound solid. They're actually thin, but they have a material cemented to the back side of it that's a lightweight material, so that it will keep the rigidity of the material, but also cuts the weight down by almost half. So there's a number of things that we do to be able to keep that weight characteristic down. Ceiling materials are the same way. The walls are the same way, as far as lighter balsa core, wood, what have you, to be able to keep that weight down. A number of things have been done and changed through the years, and unfortunately the shell is not getting any lighter. You know, you add things to it, they change something, it adds to it. So we have to figure out how to pull that back out if we can. Part of the situation of going to the lithium-ion battery packs, because using a coach, like I had mentioned before, how we grew up in the industry, I couldn't stand the fact that you could only run a coach for X amount of short period of time, 2-3 hours before the generator is going to come on if you're running air conditioning. Well, to be able to get enough battery to do that, all you're doing is adding a lot of weight. So that's why I went to the lithium-ion packs, because I could originally on the Mastervolt systems back in 2010 and 11, I could take 3 of those 24-volt battery packs from them and equate to 8 of the 8D batteries. So now we all of a sudden pulled 1,000 pounds out of the coach by doing that. So that's why a lot of that evolved through the years. And again, we went into the Volta system. We ended up with a huge amount of power. We actually then added a little bit of weight to the system, but then by downsizing the generator, we were able to pull that weight back out again. You know, there's a lot of balls in the air, if you will, all the time to try and make that all work.
I can imagine as you get into these different materials that have a very solid structure with the lighter weight, the cost probably goes up on those materials, but you're not cutting any corners.
No, not at all. I mean, when you look at a stack of whatever lumber you're going to use, if it's going to be MDF or if it's plywood or whatever, you lay that on the ground and you do the same size of 8x10 in the foam core, you got 3 times the cost.
So no expense is spared when building this coach.
No question.
Well, if we look at the paint job, we already know how expensive Dean's work is. So that's an expensive paint job just to start.
So the other thing that we don't touch on that often, is we do a significant amount of outlets. I lay out most of the electrical that's in the coach, and we have outlets almost everywhere that you can turn. And a lot of them have the USB charge ports in them as well. If we have the room and the depth for that area, we'll put those in. For example, underneath this dinette booth, you've got 2 outlets that are down here. You have another outlet on the back side. We have outlets that are here. I mean, there's outlets everywhere that you can. It doesn't, you know, it always seems like you're looking for a place to plug something in, but we have those there. So everywhere you can.
And as you're talking about that, I'm looking around trying to see outlets, and I don't see, I guess there's one hidden outlet I see there, but I'm not seeing any outlets just looking back this way. That's done by design too,
That's
I can imagine.
Right, exactly right. And then going back to what you were saying on the squeaks and rattle part of it, you know, that's part of the warranty part that we have, which you had talked about, the lifetime workmanship warranty. So every coach, every new coach has that to the first owner. The workmanship warranty that we do is if this countertop, for an example, breaks and it was because of our installation, I don't care how long it is, we'll replace it. Freshwater tank leaks because of something, we built that tank, I'll fix it, no matter how old the coach is, as long as it's to the first owner. Squeaks and rattles, it is not part of our program. We don't tolerate it, so we will warranty that. And if somebody comes in with an older coach and they're the 5th or 6th owner and they have issues that are going on with it, we can take care of it for them.
You're the only one in the industry that can say that, so that really is priceless.
Well, and it has to do with how the cabinetry is built, how the cabinetry is secured to the coach. Each piece of cabinetry that we do here is a finished piece of furniture out on the bench, and then it's brought into the coach and secured to the structure, not to the ceiling, to the structure, right? So that means that this seam right here is never going to change. The backsplashes and everything else is all integral to that, and it has gaps in there that you can't see so that you don't have those issues going down the road. It's a lot of thought that goes into it.
Talking about the structure, we've talked about it in other videos, but the Prevost shell and the structure of the Prevost shell, what is it about it that makes it such a robust machine?
It doesn't move, it doesn't twist. You can put this coach into any kind of configuration that you want to. You can have the front tires up on blocks and the back and the leveling all jacked out of shape, and that front door is still going to open and close, just like it does going down the road and sitting still. It has to do with how the chassis is built. The chassis is a monocoque chassis, so every member that's in there is dependent on the other member. It's all stainless steel. When you open it all up, it is stainless steel. The sub-assemblies are not, which are the front axle, the drive, and the tag axle. That's high-strength steel that's on that. The rest of the coach is all stainless steel structures. It just doesn't change. You can bring a coach in here that's 15 years old. The compartment doors, the entry door, everything else, it's all still the same.
No gaps in the cabinets and all that stuff. And other motorhomes out there, when they get a few miles on them, they kind of just start to fall apart.
They literally will fall apart sitting still. I've seen it.
Now, a lot of people ask about storage too in this coach. A lot of window space here. We're not seeing cabinets above the windows, but what kind of storage do we have in the salon here?
So we've got a lot of storage that's up in the cabinet area, and again, every cabinet has a light. You've pointed that out a number of times. This particular unit, the clients did not want to have handles on the uppers, so these uppers are all clean as far as that goes, and you've got storage all the way along the upper side here. You have storage underneath the couch as well. There's 2 drawers that are underneath the couch area here for storage. You also have a drawer underneath this dinette booth. This is an L booth. Most of the coaches that you see that we do have the breakfast bar arrangement, so there's all kinds of storage underneath there as well. And then you have all kinds of storage that in the galley area here. This coach has the bath and a half with the extended galley single chair up here, and it's amazing when we have people that are transitioning from coach to coach, they have more stuff in the coach that they're moving out of than they're going to put into the new one anyway. I mean, most of the stuff they find, okay, why did we even put this into coach? We forgot we had it, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that goes on too. So the coach does have plenty of storage in it. And plus, without the overheads that are in the front area, you don't get this closed-in feeling as well.
Very great utilization of space, and I love all the details like the paper towel roll.
Right.
We all need paper towel.
Right.
So, well, and not only the paper towel roll, every cabinet is lined and well lit. Every little detail.
Owner's manual, provide that every coach as well. Trash drawer here with storage for bags as well. We have the Wolf speed oven, which is a microwave and convection oven as well. We then have this particular unit, they wanted, because they cook on board a lot, they wanted to have a larger cooking arrangement. So we have a 4-burner inductive cooktop here.
I haven't seen that before.
No, this is a first. Lightweight as well.
Yeah, and completely flush there. You know, there's no gaps in these countertop covers.
We cut everything with a CNC machine that is a 5x8 table. It's a vacuum table. My brother and I first got into that technology in the 80s. We had a 4x8 machine that is a CNC router, which then we cut all the cabinetry and everything else on. Now that transitioned a number of years ago to a 5x12, and it's a vacuum table. So this countertop will actually come on and off that machine 3 times. It'll get the first cutouts done, and then they'll do the layup for this edge, and then it'll go back on again, and then it'll be cut. So that machine has a tolerance of 1/1000th of an inch in that distance of that 12-foot table. Nobody has tolerances like that. There's a lot of machine labor plus manual labor that goes into this as well. So it's very, very well detailed.
Yeah, no expense spared.
No. Pantry arrangement here, nice pull-outs. All lighted again. The metal stiffener that we put in the door, we have that on there because of the fact over time, doesn't matter, you're going to start to see doors start to what's called creep. or bow, if you will. We have done this for 25, 30 years. We've put that on all of the tall doors so that that does not happen. Because even on other doors, when you put mirrors on them, they're going to start to pull. So this eliminates that issue.
And that's got to add a little bit of weight.
It's an aluminum piece that we have that we bend up, and it does add a little bit of weight to the coach for sure.
But it's very important that this coach lasts so that you can warranty squeaks and rattles for the lifetime of the original owner.
Absolutely.
Got to build it right.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
Refrigerator. This would be the Fisher Paykel refrigerator unit. We have the water dispenser in the door here, the freezer here with the ice maker drawer below. And again, this is very clean. You can't really even tell that we have a refrigerator here as far as that goes.
Beautiful. And then that accent wall behind you there. Did you say Mountain Chic or what was the?
Mountain Chic, yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
what a cool texture. Such high quality materials that just incredible how this all comes together. So.
Thank you.
Now there's some cool stuff going back in the super sweet bedroom. Now we have the door closed here. What's going on in the middle of the coach here?
Well, when we get into the middle of the coach here, you're going to have the washer dryer, and then we get into the super suite. So in the mid bathroom area, we made a change while we were doing the setup for the coach and the design. I suggested maybe we do a little change because the customer wanted to have a bigger sink bowl in this area here and to be able to utilize that better instead of having the cabinet that goes diagonal across here. Kurt designed this to be more square in here so that you have more room, bigger bowl as far as feeling like you have more room in here as well, and then came up with a magnifying mirror that's in here, custom made.
Yeah,
so there's a lot of cool stuff there.
Yeah, is that a new feature that you guys have never done before?
Yeah, that's a first, absolutely.
Then the bidet toilet, popular
toilet,
feature.
yep.
And then a beautiful backsplash in that half bathroom, a totally different style, but just really ties together well with that Mountain Chic, or was it Mountain
Chic? Yep.
Yeah, Mountain Chic,
Chic feel, yep, for sure. And then the doors, solid.
Yes, sir.
No rattles, no squeaks. So then we have the super suite arrangement here. We've got the hair done on the walls here as well, the hide, which is kind of cool on both.
Yeah,
so that's
very cool accent walls. I really
Very
like
cool.
that.
Yep. Big closets on the forward and aft. We also did a install here on a Dyson vacuum. We have the main power head here, and we actually have the accessories on the other side. Everything has a place for sure. Big drawers that are down here on the bottom side, and it's the same front and rear on the driver's side slide, and then mirrors on both doors. When you're dressing back here, you know exactly how you look.
Yeah, you can see the back of your head. So 2 full-length mirrors, and I always like to just point out this laundry hamper, and then even this little detail that they bring this edge up just to utilize that space. I'm just curious, what is right here that makes you have to kind of bring that curve up on that laundry
Part
hamper?
of the slide rail bearing system.
Yeah, yes, sir.
So in the base of the bed, there's a safe with a digital combination on it. King size bed. The Prevost slides on the driver's side are 30 inches deep. So that was changed in the 2020 model year as well. So we ended up with 6 more inches of room through here when that was done. The feel of this coach is very, very comfortable. I mean, you know, I don't know that the pictures of the video really do it justice, but it really has a really cool feel to it. And again, we talked about outlets before. So we have outlets on either side of the slide room by the mattress here. We also have outlets under on the bed frame as well. There's outlets on either side. On the passenger side, we have a 50-inch TV back here.
And I see wireless charging on both sides of the bed in addition to all of those outlets. How long has Liberty Coach been doing those wireless charging ports?
A little over 2 years.
Okay, cool, cool. Yeah, and I'm so impressed with these floors as we're coming through, just the little details, how these grains line up perfectly. When you start looking at all of the little details of the craftsmanship, it just really tells a story of pride of craftsmanship.
There's no question about it. I mean, it's easy to just lay the floor as it comes in, right? Instead of planning it out, and the people that are doing it have the pride to make sure that it comes together like it's supposed to. You can direct people to do certain things or ask them to do it, but if they don't have the ability to understand that, it's not going to come together.
Yeah, so your manufacturing facility is in North Chicago. A lot of team members that we haven't seen, but how long have a lot of your team been with you?
We have some guys that are up there that have been working for us for 40 years.
Wow.
So, I mean, there's a lot of knowledge, a lot of depth that's in that for sure. You know, we've had guys that have retired. We've had some transition to even have their kids occasionally come in and work for us. I mean, our family is fortunate enough that my son is involved in the electrical department and Crestron programming, plus on the Volta side. He also does service. Kurt's boys, Nick and Riley, are involved. Riley's in the cabinet shop. Nick is in the office area. So we're really fortunate to have the entire entire family. The wives, obviously Kurt and Kim. My wife Denise does our event planning, rallies, and that type of stuff. So we're all, real tied into everything.
Very involved family business. And one thing that, that you've done that I've witnessed, these no motor coach is perfect, and it is possible they have issues. I was somewhere where a Liberty Coach owner mentioned that there was some sort of an issue, and Alex was on an airplane. It was like the next possible flight. I mean, they reached out to Alex, and then 30 minutes later got a phone call back with a game plan about how Alex could be there as quickly as possible. Really a lot of value, and he came out and fixed the problem, and a lot of value to that. So your son is in the field, flying around the country, helping fix these coaches.
There's no question. And the rest of the service team, does the same thing if need be. We have a real deep service commitment in our company. We're selling coaches, we're building coaches, so that number doesn't get any smaller, right? We have a good service team, a great service team, I believe. We've got Nathan, that's our service manager, who drives the truck that you'll see at the different events that we do. Plus we have Vince Shaw that's here in the shop, and Nathan stays in the shop as well. Plus we've got a number of other technicians that are here also. Most of them are able to travel if need be. There's no question about it.
Yeah, and talking about all the events and your service truck, is it Big Red?
Big Red, yeah.
Yeah. Other Liberty Coach owners have told me that they love going to the events and the rallies because when they give you a punch list, everything gets fixed. And it's like sometimes these RV repair shops will come up with excuses as why they can't fix it. But from what I've heard, Liberty Coach just gets the job done, and there's a lot of value to that. So
and we've got a good team obviously up north as well. We touched on some of the people, how long they've been with us. We've got somewhere in the neighborhood of about 80-ish people that are up there. They've got to have it together to be able to build the quality piece that we have. There's no question about that. So we've got a good team. We're very proud of those people as well.
Yes, sir, absolutely. And the events for the Liberty Coach owners to use the coaches, anything exciting coming up this summer?
We've got the gathering that we normally do in Sturgis, which is where you and I first met.
Yes,
so
sir.
We've got that coming up in August. We have Liberty Coach Week that we do in Petoskey, Michigan at Hearthside Grove. We do that on our 2 lots that are there, plus at their clubhouse there as well. We've got a couple of events that we'll be doing up in Mountain Falls here coming up also. We've got the Road Hogs Rally coming up here in Kerrville in May, and then we have a Liberty Coach Rally that we're doing in Maine, in Boothbay, Maine, first week of October, which I believe we're already sold out on that. We have 20 spots for that. We're already sold out, and that's pretty exciting. So, we try and keep our customers busy. As I say, if we don't give them a reason to use it, they're not going to keep it.
Absolutely, and you'll be out using coaches.
I'm there.
Yes, sir.
There's no question, I'm out there. There was a different ask on this part that Kim and the client came up with as well, doing an antique type mirror. You don't see that very often. It's not easy to get that type of mirror any longer.
Really cool look.
And then when you come into the bathroom, this is a first back in here. This was the sink arrangement is actually recessed down in the countertop to give it more of a wading pool feel or look to it. So that was kind of cool.
Very stylish, modern design. This is the latest and the greatest.
Yeah. We also have a heated towel bar back here that's on this cabinet door when you come into the bathroom and look on the passenger side.
Very large shower.
Right. The shower is big. Plus, we ended up making this niche area taller than what we have done in the past. This is the second time that we've done that. A little small corner shelf seat, if you will. So the shower in this actually feels even bigger than our normal shower. So, you've got a lot of room in here.
Yeah, definitely. And then the drain, too.
The drain, yep.
Really cool style on the drain there.
Bidet toilet back here as well. Like we point out often, we do a lot of lighting in the bathroom. That's something that it drives me crazy when we're in hotel rooms and what have you. You go into the bathroom and it's like there's no light. You can't see anything.
If someone is a serious and a qualified buyer, who should they get a hold of if they want to purchase a Liberty Coach?
Well, the best way to do it is to go on the website, which is libertycoach.com. You can view the inventory that we have there. You can email directly from the website in, and when it comes in, then I'll go ahead and divide it up. Those all come to me. You also have the phone number of 800-554-9877. We do have another company here as well, which is the Motorhome Exchange. It is internal to this location. That company has equipment that's going to be outside of 10 years of Liberty Coach production or other units. Like you've seen us have marathons here. We've had other coaches here, Newells, what have you. So we do have that as well. So that has its own website, the motorhomeexchange.com. So we have a big variety, if you will, of coaches.
Now, inventory inventory. You know, this is a custom built coach for the owner. What's the inventory situation and what's available?
If you were to order a coach for your specific needs or what you want to have, you're going to be probably looking at August of 2024 right now. We do have a double slide coach that'll be finishing up toward the end of the year that is an open unit that is going to be a stock unit to us unless somebody jumps on it before obviously it finishes. So we're excited about that. We've got some ideas that we're playing around with on that coach. Unfortunately, some of that stuff doesn't change, and we do have other inventory that comes in. It just sells so quickly that we just don't put it up on the website.
You have a pretty unique, cool coach that's gotten a lot of attention, that Prevost 4 Travel Sauna Suite. Is that coach still available?
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, sure is.
That's a cool coach.
Yeah, it is. Yes, it is. We've got that in the Motorhome Exchange, as a matter of fact. You bet.
Well, Frank, I know you're extremely busy, so I really appreciate you taking the time to share this coach with us. Really appreciate you and the team at Liberty Coach.
Thank you.
Also greatly appreciate all of you out there subscribing to the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. Thanks again.
Thank you, Andrew. We appreciate you and appreciate everybody that watches and all the comments too. I read through them, so I appreciate those coming.